Alright guys, so in this video we're building a for loop. So a for loop is just simply like a loop like other loops like while loops, do while loops. It's basically like if you want to do something over and over again or with repetition, then the for loop is used. No for loop. So let's just quickly go type int rate equals 105. What we're doing right now here is we're building a currency converter program using a for loop. So in the next video, not in the next video, in the next line, we type in cout insertion operators USD and then a single space backslash t and then like pkr like that, and then inverted commas close and line. So in the next step we like type for int and let's just set pkr or initialize pkr equals 1, and then this is our first part of our for loop. There are actually three parts. This is the first part, this is called initialization, and the next part is called condition testing, and it's pretty much like how much we want our loop to go by. We want to go by 5 times or 10 times or whatever. So in this case we want to go up till 5 times, and then pkr plus plus, and then after that in the body of the while loop what we can say is that cout pkr and then inverted commas open equals backslash t is just 4 spaces. It's just like if you do like 1 2 3 4, or in short you type this backslash t or tab, and then we can write insertion operator pkr. This is our formula for converting pkr, shift 8 and then our rate variable, and then pretty much end that line. So now if we go ahead and build and run this program, but before building and running, these were the three parts of our for loop: initialization, condition testing, increment. Initialization, condition testing, increment. Remember that way. So actually on the screen, if we go and build and run, you can see that our program runs perfectly. So what it does is it remembers that int rate is initialized to 105, and then it prints out on the screen USD and single space and 4 spaces pkr, and that line. When this is executed, when this line is completed, our cursor comes to the next line, and in the next line it remembers that for the for loop I'm going to remember that pkr is initialized to 1. Remember that pkr is initialized to 1, not rate. Don't confuse this rate with this pkr. Pkr is initialized to 1, and then I'm going to remember that how much I want to go by. I want to go by up till 5 times, and then I want to increment each time the loop ends. And then in the next step it doesn't remember, it prints out. It prints out cout pkr, that is in this case 1, and then equals, which is this equal to sign, and then pkr into rate, and pkr in this case is 1, and then the rate. So I made a little explanation for you guys. Now if you look at this, hopefully we have this in the view of our Cam Studio Recorder, and it is. So in the first cycle it printed out this thing, and the for loop, it remembers these things in his mind, and in the next step it prints out well, in this case pkr is 1, so it prints out 1, and then it prints out equals and 4 spaces, and the cursor is now right here, and then after that it prints out this pkr, that is in this case 1, into rate, which is initialized to 105 over here, and end that line. And when the moment it ends that line, our cursor is now in this line, the third line. of this output. So now it repeats the same thing, and in the third cycle it repeats the same thing, the fourth cycle, the fifth cycle, and the fifth cycle it says, oh, now my condition that is fulfilled. Now I'm going to skip this whole block of code and go on to the next block. So that is pretty much the working of our for loop. I hope you guys understood at least 10% of this tutorial, so because the remaining 90% you are going to understand when you yourself are going to practice. So see you guys in the next video, and remember, do practice the code.